Hi, welcome back to the next installment of Follet, the video novel. We're going to read the fourth section of chapter 9. And while there is no explicit sex in this section, there is music and there's pie. So I'll give you what I can. Here we go if you're ready. The lobby and the bar were half filled with incubi and succubi, but as soon as Ashmedai saw them, he left his post behind the desk and came to join them. "You look ravishing, Meri," Ashmedai said, grinning, "and it appears that you have ravished our friend Follet." Meri laughed softly. Follet asked, "What's good to eat and drink, my friend?" Ashmedai grinned and said, "Follow me," and led the couple to a small table at the edge of the lobby close to the bar. Follet noticed that there was a small bandstand at the far end of the bar. We have very good country chicken pot pies and shepherd's pies made in our kitchen, stoner pies from the Cove, and drunk little piggies from Music City Pie Company. I would suggest cherry or apple moonshine pie to wash it all down." "Stoner pie?" Meri asked with a giggle. "2 beef tamales topped with cream cheese mixed with Rotel tomatoes and baked until it's warm and gooey, meaty mess. You can eat it with corn chips instead of utensils. It's groovy," Ashmedai explained. "Drunk little piggies?" queried Follet. "They're mini pies with flaky crust tops and bottoms filled with pulled pork, bacon, and white bean gravy," their host told them. "Savory pies to savor." "And the moonshine pies?" "We send a member of our staff about 3 hours south into Mississippi to a friend of ours, Foote. He's been making moonshine for years, just taking time off to do a little time whenever he violates his parole. We bring his shine to our kitchen, infuse it with apple, and for the apple pie, serve it mixed with apple juice and a stick of cinnamon, served in a mason jar. For the cherry pie, we fill a mason jar with seeded cherries and then fill the spaces that are left with moonshine and let it sit for a spell. Both are something sweet that will kick your ass." "Sounds perfect," Meri said excitedly. "I'd like the stoner pie and the moonshine cherries." "Very good, miss. Follet?" "I think that those drunk little piggies would be just the thing with that moonshine apple pie." "I think that you both will enjoy them," Ashmedai said. "Ash, is there a band tonight?" Follet asked. "Not formally, but we keep a PA system ready along with mics, instruments, and amplification in case any of our guests feel the need to jam. We have a wide range of instruments from guitars to banjos to fiddles to electric basses to concertinas to saxophones to trumpets to drums to a set of bagpipes, and I think we even have a hurdy-gurdy, just in case. Are you feeling musical?" "If I have enough moonshine, I might be able to dance," Follet admitted. Ashmedai laughed. "I'll put in your order and get your drinks." Ashmedai brought the drinks. The apple moonshine was glowingly golden, and when Follet stirred the concoction with the cinnamon stick, large bubbles appeared almost magically to dance throughout the drink and then disappear within seconds. The moonshine cherries were dark, lustrous red, almost black. "Bing cherries," Ashmedai told him. "They're juicy and sweet and soak up that shine like little round sponges." Meri made a mess before their dinner arrived by reaching into her mason jar and fishing out plump cherries dripping with moonshine and popping them into her mouth. After 6 or 8 of these, she fished out an especially plump cherry, held it between her thumb and forefinger, moved it back and forth between her and Follet, and said, "Open up, Follet. I'll bet I can toss this right into your mouth. Between the teeth, over the gums. Look out, Follet, here it comes." She tossed it toward Follet's open mouth, but it bounced off his nose. "Oops," she laughed, and then she snorted it. Follet laughed too. "I think it's going to be a bumpy night, Meri." "You can count on that, Follet," Meri said, and tossed another cherry Follet's way. This time he caught it in his mouth, chewed it up, and swallowed it. Pretty damn good." The food arrived, and Follet and Meri made short work of the feast. Meri unwrapped the corn husks from the tamales and insisted on dipping the corn chips into the puddle of beef, cheese, and tomatoes that oozed out of the ends of the little cornmeal cylinders, and feeding Follet. He returned the favor by feeding forkful after forkful of the drunk piggies into Meri's waiting mouth. After they had used their fingers to mop up the cheese and gravy that remained on their plates, they ordered another round of moonshine pies. As they drank, incubi and succubi moved into the bandstand and picked up instruments. A muscular succubus with short silver hair sat at the piano. A portly bald incubus picked up a tenor sax and was joined by a willowy young succubus with a trumpet. A short curvy succubus with a buzz cut adjusted the microphone so that she could sing into it rather than stare up at it. A cafe au lait succubus with a wild afro picked up an electric guitar, plugged in, turned the gain on the amp down to quiet the glass-shattering feedback and tore off some ridiculously fast arpeggios that turned into mellow comping. The pianist joined in, and the horn section punctuated each bar with a harmonic flourish. The vocalist scattered across the guitarist's chords. A tall, clumsy-looking incubus of indeterminate age and a mane of dirty blonde hair came onto the stage and grabbed the bass, laying down a thundering bottom in a register so low that Follet felt it rather than heard it. The vibrations got Mary's attention. "Let's dance, Follet," she cried, and grabbed his hand, dragging him out into a little open space in front of the bandstand. The band was heating up. The comping had metamorphosed into a decidedly thumping New Orleans-style funk, and then the diminutive vocalist took the mic from the stand and cradled it in her arms like a lover. The horn section pushed the rhythm. The bass player was jumping on the balls of his feet, taking air and simultaneously landing on the stage and slamming the foundation of his riff on the one. And the singer began, "In the night, in the night, in the night, oh Lord, in the night, in the wee, wee hour, dreaming night and day. Now all them girls got sex appeal, oh really get to rockin', it's a real good deal. In the night, hey, in the night, in the wee, wee hours, dreaming night and day." Where in that little succubus did her gigantic voice come from? Follet shook his head and shook his ass. The only thing that mattered now was the music. The song ended with a thump, and the pianist moved to a synthesizer. The bass player and guitarist moved mic stands and mics so they could stand together and sing. The rhythm changed to a decidedly more pop beat. A synth riff, an electronic drum flourish, and the musicians sang, "Don't mess with Dr. Dream, don't mess with Dr. Dream." "Ooh, I love the Thompson twins," squealed Meri, and pogoed closer to the stage. Follet followed her, and when he caught up, asked with a sneer, "The candy floss art capitalists?" Meri grinned. "The three haircuts," and pogoed back toward their table. And the house band sang, "Come lay down your head on the stone, so cool and white and welcome home, oh lose your troubles, ease your pain. Soothe your soul in the golden rain. Blue marble seas, I'll make you feel so good, roll over me. Blue marble dreams, I like you always, knew you'd roll over me." Follet and Meri plopped into the chairs at their little table. Follet reached for Mary's hand. She touched her fingertips to his and slid her hand into his until her fingertips lay on his wrist and their palms touched. Her fingers traced Follet's veins and lightly found his pulse. "Dessert?" Follet asked. Meri smirked. "I've got something special for afters, Follet, that I need to show you." Follet stood immediately, not letting go of Mary's hand, and pulled her to his feet. The two hurried toward the elevator. When they got to the great brass doors, Follet pushed the up button. Meri stood beside him, restlessly shifting from foot to foot. He still held her hand, and Follet could feel her skin warming and her pulse speeding faster and faster at her wrist. He turned to look at her and saw the rosy flush color of her cheeks and neck and the top of her chest that he could see revealed at the collar of her t-shirt. It seemed to take forever for the doors to open. Follet and Meri stepped inside, and then a woman's voice could be heard giggling. A short, high-pitched squeal and a tittering laugh, and then "Follet!" as the doors closed and the elevator took them to bed.